Go on over there. Go on over there. All right. Surely not to be a one form situation. On to UFC 259. Now, I can't believe we're starting off like this. We're starting off with Thiago Santos versus Alexander Rakic. I'm super excited for this fight. Could be fight of the night here. Two big, strong, hard-hitting boys. I don't know who is going to be more powerful. I don't know who's going to be stronger. Alexander's a bit taller. I do believe that Santos has better kicks and a bit more diversity in his striking. Has I felt a higher level of competition. Although I don't know, we haven't seen everything from Alexander. We're seeing more and more from him every time we see him fight. So who knows how good he is. Super excited for this fight. My bias is showing a little bit. I am going with Santos just because I want to see him get back to at least where he was before he ripped apart one knee, literally ripped pretty much everything you could rip in that knee. And also, I believe, like the ACL in the other knee. Look it up. So I just really kind of want to see him get back into form. However, if Alexander were to win, I wouldn't be mad at it. Great fight here. Looking forward to it. It's pretty much a toss-up. But I am picking Santos. Next up, I'm choosing Islam Makhachev to beat Drew Dober. Now, Drew has turned a corner. I'll be looking a little bit more at them, how they look at the weigh-ins and all of that. But for right now, I am choosing Islam. Now, the first of the 3 title fights. We are seeing the UFC men's bantamweight champion in Petr Yan taking on Aljamain Sterling, the Funk Master. All right, I'm really excited for this fight. Super excited for this whole card. I think this is going to be a good fight no matter how it turns out. And this is one of those lighter weight classes where I really think anything can happen. We could see a finish here in the first round. We could see all 5 rounds here. Both of these gentlemen are capable of finishing the fight in multiple ways. Starting with the contender, we have Aljamain Sterling. I believe he's like 33 years old, 31, 33, somewhere in that age range. He actually has a wrestling base, so he is stronger than he looks because he's kind of thin, but don't let that fool you. He's actually extremely strong, and he has a great submission game. He has a great offensive, attacking submission game, baits you into bad movement. Like, he really uses it as a weapon, standing up or on the feet or on the ground. He has really developed his stand-up game as well. He has some unique movement. He's got great kicks. He's stronger than he looks. He's quite fast. He's got a good jab. He's got about a 4-inch reach advantage on Petr. That is going to come in handy here because he does actually fight kind of long. So he's very well-rounded. Extremely well-rounded. Not many holes in his game. He's going to need to keep a cool head. I would say use that reach advantage on the feet. Tear apart his lead leg, try to take some of that power away from Petr. I do believe he's going to be more powerful with the punches and probably with the kicks as well. Not sure who's going to be stronger because Aljamain, with that wrestling base, that produces a different level of core strength than other arts do. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen there until we see them get on the ground, if that happens. But as far as punching power, Petr's going to be stronger. So Aljamain going to have to tear apart that league leg, stifle that movement, take some of that power out of those hits. Petr also has developed quite a good wrestling game as well, probably underrated. So Aljo, if you do take him down, which I do believe that's probably where you should go, keep it on the feet. See if you have some if you are making some leeway with using your reach advantage with your kicks. I do think you do have better kicks, or at least you use them more. You're more creative and unique. You do things people aren't expecting. So if you can catch him off guard, bait him into bad movement, maybe you're faster than him. So see what happens on the feet. You have a proficient stand-up game, but I do believe you're better than him on the ground. Not only with your wrestling as far as the mechanics, feeling the leverage, all of that, but again, your submission game is actually top-notch. I think you might be able to bait him into bad movement and finish him through submission on the ground. I actually think I see a win from submission from you more so than a KO or a finish on the feet. You can even get a submission off of your feet. You're that good with that game. So I think you should probably take him down, keep it into close quarters, where you can get your hands on him, get your hands on that neck. If you do see that you're having success on the feet, work that too. Again, we're going to see a lot of what happens once you get in here. This is a really even matchup for me, so there's a lot I couldn't tell. Petr, I do believe you're going to be more powerful than him. You have a boxing base. I do believe you're a more proficient boxer, especially traditionally. I think he has better kicks, but as far as your hands, you got better hands. You're deceptively fast, and you're probably going to have quicker hand speed as well. Use that jab, bait him into bad movement. Use your boxing footwork to keep this on the feet, where I do believe you might be able to knock him out, if I'm just being honest, or break him down over time. Get a knockout later on in the fight. If it goes down to the ground, you have underrated wrestling, so see what happens there. See if you can match him strength for strength on the ground, but be careful. Be careful. he's got a great submission game. So don't leave yourself in bad positioning. Don't get overzealous. Don't get cocky. I don't know who's going to win this fight. I don't know who's going to win this fight. You know, it's very rare when we have these 3 championship cards. And someone let me know, has there been a 3 championship cards where all of the champs have kept their belts? I'm sure there has. I can't remember one off top. But normally, at least one of them loses. And so for me, this would be my pick. And no, I'm actually picking Aljamain Sterling. But it's a toss-up. Wouldn't be surprised if Petr kept the belt. We're going with Aljo. Now, co-main event, we're seeing the UFC Women's Featherweight Champion, Miss Amanda Lioness Nunes. Amanda Nunes, if you can hear it through all that mess. Taking on Megan Anderson for the featherweight belt here. Featherweight, she's taking her on for her featherweight belt. I'm excited for this too. Amanda is at the point here. Let me just talk about Amanda real quick. She is at the point here where we are tuning into her fights for her. We want to see her break records. We want to see her do things we've never seen a woman do before in the ring. We want to see her do things we've never seen her weight class do before. We're tuning in for Amanda at this point. No disrespect to Megan Anderson, but she has earned this. She's actually managed to earn her way out of the women's GOAT conversation and into simply the GOAT conversation. So we're tuning in for Amanda Nunes here. Kind of doesn't matter who's on the opposite side here. Opponent A, opponent B, Amanda Nunes. Now, let's go ahead and talk about her opponent, Megan Anderson. She is a true featherweight. She was a former Invicta FC champion. She actually started off as a boxer. She's got the reach advantage. She's a couple of inches longer than Amanda on all fronts. Taller, longer hands, longer feet, the whole thing, a couple of inches. She does fight long. She is powerful. On the ground, she actually has quite a good submission game. In fact, she sneaky on the ground, very proficient on the ground. Those long limbs, especially in the beginning of the fight when it's dry, Amanda's gonna have to be careful, especially if it does go down to the ground. Again, she is longer, so she does fight long. So if she can keep Amanda at the end of her shots, keep it standing for a while. Tear apart that lead leg as well. Also check the kicks as well. But see if you can take some of that power out of Amanda. See if you can take some of that speed out of Amanda, because I think Amanda's going to be faster than you. I also think that she is a better boxer than you. She has a boxing base as well. I think she's a better boxer. And so we know that speed plus skill equals power, right? So because I think she's faster and a better boxer, even though you're bigger and powerful, I actually think your guys' punching power is going to be even. If not, Amanda might even still be a bit more powerful than you because of her mechanics, and she's got that natural strength as well with her boxing. So because of that, I can't confidently say, Megan, that you should keep this on the feet and use your length and you'll win that way. I don't necessarily think you have the upper hand on the feet. Now, on the ground is something different because of those long limbs, because you will be bigger than her. Amanda's not used to being in the octagon with someone of your size, especially early on. I say take her to the ground, throw caution to the wind, and attack with your submission game. Just attack, head, arms, knees, shoulders, toes. Like, just attack everything with your submission game. Amanda, she's not used to fighting with someone with your length, so maybe she backs out thinking she's backed out enough, but she hasn't. You still have her. Maybe you can weigh on her that way. But you might be able to get a submission. Even on the feet there in close quarters, dirty boxing up against the cage, again with those long limbs, especially in the beginning while you guys are dry, I really think you should work your submission game and go for that. Now, of course, you have your boxing base. Use that jab. Use those kicks. If you can create your own opening for a TKO or winning by points, of course, you work everything. This is Amanda Nunes. Try everything. Try everything, right? So, and I believe she only had to win like 2 or 3 fights to get there. I'm not really mad at that because the featherweight division is still a work in progress, so you don't really have to win too much. And right now, that's not a bad thing. Hey, featherweights, take note. You only got to win like 2 or 3 fights to get a title shot. So, I'm all for this fight. I'm excited for it. Amanda Nunes. Again, I think you are a far better boxer, and I think you're faster, so I think your power will be equal. If not, you might even be a little bit quicker. Even though you fight long, so that's kind of going to nullify her little reach advantage because you do fight longer than her. But still fight her in the chest. Get inside of that range and work inside that pocket, which you do so well. Ooh, you can draw the numbers to her mechanics inside the pocket with the leverage and the torque and Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful to watch Amanda Nunes work her boxing in the pocket. Do that here. Fight her in the chest. Get her up into the cage. Take away some of that movement. I think you'll be faster than her. Move in and out, in and out. Throw some wrestling at her as well. Keep her off her game. Keep her guessing. If you do get in trouble on the feet, take her down where you might be a better wrestler. I'm not quite sure. Feel it out. She is bigger. Be careful. Be careful of those limbs. But you might need to work the ground and pound if you do get in trouble on the feet in some way. So I'm sticking with the champ. Again, at this point, I'm tuning in for Amanda Nunes. But hey, I love the drama. And an upset of Amanda Nunes would be very dramatic. So, picking the lioness now. Next up, main event. And we're seeing, okay, so this is two champions, and this is for the 205 belt. So, we're seeing the UFC light heavyweight champion, Yan Blachowicz, take on the UFC middleweight champion, Israel Adesanya. Okay, let's just go ahead and get this out the way, because I am not excited for this fight. I said it from the beginning. As soon as they started talking about this, I was like, why? And the reason why I'm saying why, because what is the point of this? So let's just play this out real quick. Let's just, Israel really doesn't have much to lose, right? Except for possibly getting that loss because he's undefeated. So he would get that loss, but he's going to keep his belt. He's a smaller man getting beaten by the bigger man. So really nothing to lose there. But Yan, to have the smaller man come up and take your belt is not only a knock on you, but it's actually kind of a knock on the whole 205 division. And then what if Israel does win? Do you really think he's actually going to defend both belts at the same time? He's not Amanda Nunes. So the reason why she's able to hold down two divisions is because the featherweight division isn't very stacked. She can get away with only defending that belt like once a year, and there was a big lull in the 135 division due to injuries and stuff like that. So she's just kind of happened to be a two division champ at the right time. That's not the case here with the 185 and the 205 division. First off, in the 205, you already got Glover Teixeira already. And then the first fight of this card could produce a number one contender already. Plus, you got some new cats in the 205 division. Already in the 185 division, you got two people who lost to Israel Adesanya, but whoever wins is probably going to get another shot. Jared Cannonier puts together some wins. That's a fresh fight. So either way, are we willing to actually only see the champion of the 205 division be defended only once, or the 185 defended only once? No, I actually think both divisions deserve more than that because they both have more talent than that. So if Israel were to just win the belt and then just say vacate the belt, then what was that for? Yan, you didn't even get to defend your belt once and you made the whole division look bad. So what's the point of that? John Jones being lured to come back down. Have you been paying attention to John Jones, the way he's been gaining that weight slowly over time for the past year? It's good weight. It's movable weight. It's not dead weight, meaning he's probably not going to come back down anytime soon, especially if he does defeat the winner of the next heavyweight championship. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. So what's the point of Israel getting that belt to try to lure him down? I don't see the point of this. Okay. Now let's break down the fight, shall we? Okay, so we have the contender in Israel Adesanya, who has decided not to gain any weight for the fight, which is another indicator that he's not going to keep the belt if he wins. But I digress. Israel Adesanya, who said he's not going to gain any weight, and we know he's weighed in at 183 before in the middleweight division, so he is going to be the smaller fighter. He's actually a bit longer, though. He's like 2 inches taller, a little bit longer as far as the hands, which does make a lot of difference here because he does fight long already, so that reach advantage is going to feel like more like 5 because of the way he fights. Same thing with the legs as well. He does have like a 2-inch reach advantage all the way around with the length. Yan is going to be more powerful. He has a judo base, and I do believe he's going to have an advantage on the ground. He's going to be thicker, right? He's going to be thicker this way, broader shoulders, bigger arms, just thicker all the way around. So Israel Adesanya, definitely think you need to keep this on the feet. I wouldn't try him on the ground with Yan's submission game and his underrated wrestling. Again, with that size, we don't know who's going to be physically stronger, especially on the ground. So keep it on the feet, where you will have the reach advantage, and you work so well within your range. Now, when you're dealing with someone who I believe is going to be more powerful than you, put your hands up. Keep your hands up. I know you like to get into the groove and have your hands down. You get into that flow state, but just don't get overzealous. Don't get cocky. You don't normally do, but you always make me nervous when you keep your hands down. So when you're fighting someone who is bigger and thicker than you, not longer, who has the power advantage, just be a little bit more cautious and keep your hands up. But again, I know you have to achieve that flow state. Utilize those kicks. You're a counter puncher, you're a counter striker, period. I get that, but try to up the offensive output just a little bit as far as your kicks to try to tear apart that league leg. Punches and kicks to the bodies, try to zap some of that cardio out just in case it goes into the 4th and 5th round. But you need to break, he's a thicker person, you need to break him down. You also don't know how you're going to be able to handle his power over time in a 5-round fight possibly. Now I know you've dealt with some heavy hitters in the 185, but Yan is different. There's levels. He's more powerful than them. He's more powerful than Robert Whittaker, more powerful than Paulo Costa. I do believe that. So again, let's not take any unnecessary damage. You've got great footwork. You're very elusive. You're very creative. You're very unique. You are a true example of the artistry of mixed martial arts. So keep him in range. Don't get too cocky. Keep your hands up. You might be able to point your way to victory. Cumulative damage. You're not a very high offensive output, but please try to raise it a little bit to create your opportunities to where you could get a KO, a TKO, even with the kicks, possibly a knee, but that or point your way to a victory, either or. But again, on the feet. If you do get taken down to the ground, pop back up. You've got great takedown defense. If you get up against the cage, back up against the cage. Don't accept bad position and keep it in space. Yan, fight him in his chest. You don't want to get inside of that range. Fight him in his chest. Keep it close. Try to get your pocket punch on. You're very powerful and you can generate power in close quarters, so use that. Keep him up against the cage. He has really good takedown defense, but you need to lay on him anyway. Try to zap some energy out of him anyway. He's got great cardio, but either way, the more tired he gets, the easier he will be to possibly possibly finish with the KO or bait into bad movement because he's tired, not thinking, he might make a mistake, and you do have a better submission game than he does on the feet and on the ground. Try to take him, and if you're weighing on him for the first 3 rounds, you might get that takedown in the 4th or the 5th, and with your type of power and your submission game, it might only take 1. You might be losing the whole fight. Chasing, and don't chase. Don't chase Israel. When you have somebody with extremely unique movement, you have to counteract that with straight mechanics. Straight movement, back and forth, lateral movement, straight lines, lateral movement, cut him off, fight him in his chest. Do not chase. Do not try to shuck and jive him. It's not going to happen. So counteract that with straight fundamentals. But try to take him down to the ground again. It might only take just 1 takedown. So throw everything at him, keep him guessing, and this is your belt that's on the line. Your belt. So, who's going to win? I was like, how do I make this decision? Because obviously Yan's going to be a bit thicker. He's got the power advantage. But I think Israel is going to be faster. He's more dynamic on the feet. And he has good enough takedown defense where I'm not sure that Yan's going to be able to take him down or even hold him up against the octagon or keep him contained. If they were in the same weight class, whether it be 185 or 205, if they were in the same weight class, who would I pick? The answer to that is Adesanya. So I'm actually going to pick Adesanya. Although the fact that he's not gaining any weight, but I'm going to pick Adesanya. But let me say this. Yan, you got everything to lose. This is your belt. Prove me wrong. Defend your belt. Defend the division. Keep your belt. I will not be upset if I lose this pick. But I am picking Israel Adesanya now. So y'all let me know how you do. Let me know all of your picks. Let me know how you felt about the Cyril Gane fight and all of that. And but all that happened. There was other fights though on the card that were great. So talk to me about that entire event, UFC Fight Night 20. But of course, this UFC 259 coming up. I will make an extra pick on the Dominic Cruz fight, probably the day of, on Twitter and Instagram, so you have to follow me everywhere to get all those picks. I will be making a pick on the Dominic Cruz fight. That's the main event on the prelims. So again, give me all of your picks, any injury updates. Hopefully there's no pullouts or late. Hopefully not. Hopefully no one misses weight. Let me know how you guys feel about all of these championship fights, of course. Let me know how you feel about the main event, should this happen. If not, how you feel about everything that I said there, the possibilities, and what happens if he does win. What should happen? Do you think he'll keep the belt? Do you think we'll lure John Jones down? What do you think will happen? Do you think it'll be a big old mess and just stall out the division? So, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where again, I will be having an extra pick on that Cruz fight. Oh, if you've made it this far, you gotta like the video, share the video, and subscribe and all that good stuff. So, talk to me. Take care.